Hammers.
Oh, he will be so excited when he comes across here.
Any second now. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, coming over the final jump and making the turn over the line and taking the checkered flag.
Now just wait for the in-car dancing by Jason, his co-driver. Will start any second now.
Ladies and gentlemen, bringing it home, Jason Shear. As we will remove the yellow brick, it will go to scoring and timing. And your first across the line is Jason Shear.
This is his 8th career 4400 win, and it's fantastic to see Jason Shearer here in town. He is a 3 times king and the only king to ever repeat.
And ladies and gentlemen, Dave Cole from King of the Hammers has just come up to us. All VCPs were hit, no speeding penalties. He has 5 minutes on Eric Miller. Your official winner for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries, is Jason Shear.
This is the first back-to-back king in the history of this race. Simply amazing to have someone win this back-to-back like Jason did. It's going to be so exciting to get him up here on stage.
Let's get it down right now to Miles, who's in that chaos right there with all the media. Everybody's celebrating, but the celebration will happen right here on the stage. Let's hear from Miles.
So we are here down in the pits with Jason Shear, our unofficial winner, 6:32.38. What a great time. These guys are really doing good. The car still looks good. Huge hugs, huge smiles from both Jason and both Jasons actually. Dave Cole shaking hands, all smiles, getting his kid in the car with him. The media is absolutely everywhere. Handshakes all the way around. The car still looks like it's in great shape. He is our only back-to-back unofficial winner of the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery. Jason Shear, what a class act. He's been racing with us for a very, very long time, and he now might join Shannon Campbell as one of our only 3-time winners of the King of the Hammers. I'm just checking out every inch of this car. It's beat up, but it's not that bad. The shocks still look good. The axles look great. The motor still sounds very crisp. Jason Berger and Jason Shear, all smiles. This is what they came here for. He brought the scepter to the leg bed and looks like he might take it home. There's just so many congratulations. Everybody's all smiles. You couldn't want a better person to win. He is one of our previous winners of the Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery. And you can never count out somebody that's won this race before. Obviously, with a perfect day, you still have to have just a tick bit of luck. But Jason Shear brings it back to back. There is people absolutely everywhere. We will check the trackers, check the stickers, make sure there's no time penalties. Everything is unofficial as of right now, but it looks like Jason Shear really might have this. The 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery. It was such a great race, but the race is still going on. Eric Miller should be coming in soon. Sounds like Shannon Campbell and Marcos Gomez will be battling out to get on that final podium position. Remember, this race is on corrected time. Shear did take off first, but I think he'll have him. It's going to be down to the wire. It was a race to the finish. Still lots of smiles. And it sounds like I'm hearing through the PCI radio, Dave Cole just announced official winner for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries, Jason Shear. The crowd goes wild. He's got the number 1 up. Look at everybody. They are just checking out every piece of this car. This car, it held up 2 years in a row. Fish mouth trout, built Dan Trout built a great car. But I think we'll try to get him up on stage here very soon. So we're going to drag him up on the stage and bring him up to you guys. Cameron, Ian, Jim, I'm getting him up there. The course is cleared. We're getting him coming up. Look how big that smile is. Has his boy on his lap. You can't be happier than that right now. Class act, Nick Nelson, Jason Shear battling out this morning. They're giving high fives, still smiles. That's just part of the game. So Jason Shear, Nick Nelson chatting up, reliving their race this morning because they swapped up back and forth time and time again. Jason Berger, Jason Shear will be heading up to the stage with his boy sitting on his lap. And look at that, just everybody's all smiles, everybody's excited. Wow, Jason Shear sounds like the official winner to the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima battery. Jason Shear, he's coming up. We'll get him on stage. Let the gents have a quick chat with him. So Ian, Jim, Cameron Steele, let's get him up there and have a chat. Jason Shear.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Bringing the king to the stage. I'm expecting a welcome for a king. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries, your king, Jason Shear. All right, he's got his son in there. I'm going to sneak in here. Jason, wow, congratulations. It seemed like a long wait after 2009 becoming the king. Then last year you get it, and bam, back-to-back for the first time ever. You're now a three-time king, the first time ever anybody has gone back-to-back. Congratulations to you and your team.
Cam, thanks so much, man. It's the whole thing feels like a dream. Somebody pinch me and wake me up because I can't believe it all happened. But, oh, man, what an awesome race, too, because it was pretty busy from, like, the first corner all the way out through the whole desert loop. And, you know, it was like everything you could have asked for in a perfect race, you know, from the pressure from the other racers, the obstacles out there, and doing it in a car that was perfect all day is like a dream come true. You just can't imagine how awesome it is when everything works together. And, you know, having a team like we've got right now is just it's unbelievable. I mean, from having Jason in the car, getting out and being smart, winching, to, you know, the guys prepping it. I mean, Adam McGow leads our team over there, and he has made this car finish. I mean, this is our fourth podium in a row. It's like unbelievable, you know what I mean? So everybody that's helped out on this car, everybody on our team, all the people who make these parts and help us, it's just it's crazy. It's just, I don't even believe it right now.
Well, Ian was telling the story earlier about how you were telling him you loaded the Scepter up, and you were saying, I'm hoping I'm just taking it on a ride. Looks like your wishes have come true once again.
That's so awesome. No, I can't even believe it. I kind of did it as a joke almost, like, well, going for a round trip, hopefully. And it made it. It's a round trip, Scepter trip. So cool. That's going to be, I'm sure my wife will be happy to have that back on the mantle.
I'm sure she's going to love it. It'll at least placate you a little bit. Let's talk about the emotion of doing it, having your family here. I mean, having a special rider in your lap. I mean, I know the feeling winning those big ones. It doesn't come every time, and you're fortunate enough to have it 3 times. Is this one more special? Is it just as special? Where does it rate for you?
Man, it does. This is the most, I mean, this one's crazy because I think, you know, doing it over and over and again, it's sometimes people lose the ability to want to push for the next time. And, you know, the emotions out there, I don't know what it is about racing and the emotions it brings out, but, like, you know, we were going down that trail and it was like on Spooners, and it was like all we got to do is finish Spooners and then it's desert back and we know we're good. And I don't even know how we got into the conversation, but we're talking about, you know, how awesome the car is. And I'm like, it is unbelievable that you can go, you know, 120 in the desert and just smash through whoops, and then you can still rock crawl in it. It's like such a neat thing. And I'm like, I know I'll never get rid of this car. And Berger's like, no, I know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'll never get rid of it anyway. I mean, I built this car with the inheritance I got when my mom died. Like, this car is like somebody's watching over us driving this car, you know?
Amen to that.
It just, you know, the whole thing with racing, you know it, Cam, and it's a family thing, and when all your friends are there and they're all here supporting you, and it doesn't get any better. That's the best high you can get in life.
Well, let's be careful with all the media here. Let's get you and your family or you guys up on top of the truck. Congratulations, brother. Well done. Much love to you. You guys, we're going to get him out of the car. How about a welcome one more time? Let's make some room so the fans can see him. We'll talk a little bit more to him, but right now, your king for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries, Jason Scheer, is going to take to the top of this race vehicle, and you can see the sponsors: Fox, 4-Wheel Parts, 4WP, Method. Of course, Warren is on there, BF Goodrich. And here they are, you guys, hugging it out. And those of you with cameras, if you don't want champagne on it, I'd say watch out. Come on, Hammertown, let's make some noise for them. Over 100 vehicles entered, all the teams working together. They started side by side and battled through the desert. We watched it happen as Jason Scheer started on that front row next to Nick Nelson. And here we are, 6.5 hours later, more or less, crowning your champion, celebrating on top of the car here in Johnson Valley. Dave Cole's vision of the King of the Hammers once again comes through with the repeat king, and we're still waiting for our second and third place finishers. What an epic moment here on the stage. He's trying to throw hats and shirts into the stands. For those of you watching live around the world, we will continue our coverage until about 10 o'clock tonight. And of course, we'll bring in the rest of the podium. It is official. Jason Scheer is your winner of the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries. And it's been one heck of a race day. And Jim, I'm gonna get it over to you. It's just, wow, what an emotional moment for him and his family and his entire race team.
It's an amazing scenes here in Hammertown. Jason Scheer, 3-time king. We were saying it at the beginning of the day, who's the man that you'd put your money on? We said Jason Scheer. But there's somebody else very special coming in today, and that's Eric Miller, another 2-time king, and he's just crossed the line in second place. And we've got Miles down there talking to Eric right now. Miles.
So I'm down here with Eric Miller, a previous 2-time winner of this race, and he's finished second more than anybody else, I think. I'm not quite sure if it's officially official yet, but Eric Miller very possibly will be second place in the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery. 10th career second place. So that just goes to show how hard he pushes it every single year. He's been on the podium about 50% of the time. He's been on the podium 5 times during the KOH here for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery. All 4 Nitto tires looking great. The car still looks like it's in very good shape. The Miller Motorsports chassis really does well, so it looks like number 1 is going to be an IFS car. Number 2 is going to be a solid axle car, and it looks like number 3, is it going to be Shannon Campbell or Marcos Gomez? We will find out shortly. Give a quick thumbs up from Eric. You can tell he's excited to be here, but just bummed to be bumped out of first place by right around 5 minutes.
Right on top of each other.
And look how cool this is. They've got their brand new baby out here. Leah, how excited are you right now?
So excited.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see the little man, next generation up. Confirmed. Official second place winner for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima battery, is Eric Miller, second place. Give it up for Eric. Still just kind of walking around the car. It looks absolutely, he could still race this car for a while. Official first, Jason Shearer. Official second for Eric Miller. Who's going to be third? Time will tell. I just chatted with Dave Cole. Official first and second. Got a little bit of blow-by coming out of the motor. That's how hard he ran this thing today. Who's going to come in next? Is it going to be Shannon Campbell? Is it going to be Marcos Gomez? How cool is that? Getting the brand new kid in there. Next generation of the sport. The Miller Motorsports chassis still looking in great condition. All 5 Nitto tires really looking good. This guy is always a contender. So first and second, our prior King of the Hammers winners. Not surprised one bit about that.
All right, Miles, thank you so much. I'm going to jump in here and just talk to Jason for a quick second here. Jason, I'm sure you got a laundry list of people that keep you racing out here while we wait for second place to get up here. Who keeps you in this seat? Who keeps you racing?
Well, I mean, this year has been like so cool because the guys at Fox came to me and said, hey, we got some new technology out there. We should try these on your car. And I had a hard time wanting to try it because, I mean, the car was, it was the winning car from last year. How much you want to mess with it? But we went out and made some of those adjustments and put some new bypasses on it, and it picked up, 10 or 15 miles an hour in the desert. And without it, I don't think we had a race for Nelson and all those guys this morning, Lauren and everybody. We were battling out in the desert, and it was like never took a hit. The car never took a harsh bounce, a bad hit. We were running our pace, but we were running conservative enough to where it stayed going. So I got to thank Fox for everything there. We nailed like 6 different rocks that I went, oh no, because I thought, we're done for on that, and these BFGs never flatted. So, how that's possible, I have no idea really. I mean, they're just an amazing tire, and we run them a little lower than these other guys to get the traction in the rocks, and I can't believe the Method wheels could hold up all day too, because we were smashing that stuff. So, I got to thank them. There's all the parts that we run on this car are all the best products that we can find. I mean, it's basically that's the bottom line, and I owe all of them for all that stuff that they put into it. And, it's also cool, too, because when you get a race like this and you don't know how far away the guy is behind you, you don't really know what you're racing for. But because our guys go out to those remote pits and try to stay out there with all their rugged radios, we get the split time. So I know, hey, you got 6.5 minutes on adjusted time. You got 7 minutes on adjusted time. We're trying to figure out how hard to push on the desert section when we get back. I mean, everybody's pretty equal in the rocks. In the desert, how hard you want to drive is dependent on how much you got to put in work to get that spot. So, I knew where we were and how much we had to do, and that's all because of those guys helping out all day, and also because of the good comms. So, there's a lot of people that help on this car, but I got to thank all of them, especially also the thing that made the difference out here was where we decided to winch. We made the decision right away. We were winching backdoor, and it was kind of cool because we passed on the winch out there. So thank you, Warren, for that one. And then we went up to Sledge, and we winched that, but we thought we could make outer limits. I've made outer limits every year, and I couldn't get my front tires to climb the front of the obstacle. I'm like, oh my God, Jay, you got to jump out here, not way up there where we thought. So Berger jumped out, pulled the winch line, and we got that. So we winched 3 times today, and actually that's not true. We winched 4th time because there was a rolled over car on Jack North. So we've winched 4 times today, and last year and the year before we didn't get out of the car. So it was a hard course, and but everybody that helped out with that, it's so cool because the guys at Warren are like here, and they wanted to help us be prepared and ready for the winch. We hadn't used it in 2 years. It was like, I'm so glad you guys are here to show us again how to do this with the remote control and all this stuff. But it's fast. You hit the button and it free spools, you run up the hill, all on the remote, so it saved us a bunch of time. But anyway, there's a lot of people to thank.
Was your plan always to run backdoor second lap, or was that just spur of the moment kind of decision?
So our plan was, I sent my friend Greg Hussey and up there, I said, Huss, will you go up with a handheld, and if it's clear on lap 2, will you radio to the pit that it's clear? Because I was worried, guys would roll up there on lap 1, and there would be cars rolled over and all jacked up in there. So he went up there and gave us the clear comms. It was open on lap 2, and I knew Nick was probably going to get it done then too, and I figured, Nick's a solid rock crawler too, so I figured he'd either bounce right up it, or if he was going to winch, he'd pick one line, we could pick the other, and that's kind of how it played out.
Yeah, I think that was probably their biggest decision that I think changed your day, because we were watching that unfold here back in Hammertown, and we watched everyone who waited for that back door seemed to cost them in time, and I think it was the right decision. But either way, congratulations, Jason. Thank you so much.
And Jason will crawl back into his race winner. And we will get Eric Miller, officially second place, to the stage. If you guys would like, another round of applause for Jason Shearer and his entire team, all of his sponsors.
Running a pistol sticker too.
All right, you guys, we're going to clear the stage. We're going to get Eric Miller in position. And while we step away from the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima batteries, we're going to get you some commercials, but we'll be right back with Eric Miller, and then we'll be announcing our third place finisher shortly.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
We didn't just test the new Optima Yellow Top with Pure Flow technology, we tortured it. King of the Hammers is 181 battery-killing miles of relentless, unforgiving hellishness. It's one thing to call yourself the ultimate power source. It's another thing to prove it. The all-new Optima Yellow Top with Pure Flow technology with up to 3 times the battery life. Unsurpassed performance built to fit today's vehicles. Optima, the ultimate power source.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Johnson Valley, California. Fantastic scenes here in Hammertown. We've seen Jason Shearer come across the line and be crowned a 3-time king. But now it's about second place. And we are about to get Eric Miller up on stage. Eric, of course, is a 2-time king. Remarkably, he's been on the podium no less than 19 times in Ultra 4 racing. And has been second an incredible 10 times. So let's get in here and let's have a chat to Eric and find out how his day's been. Eric, how are you?
Pretty good, Jim. Happy to be up here again. It's always special to finish this race. It just gets harder and harder every year.
Well, it seems to me this is a, something we're doing more and more often. I very much enjoy seeing you here.
I certainly appreciate that. I mean, you know, it just comes back to, you know, we've got this recipe figured out. I've got a great group of guys behind me, even stronger bit of supporters as far as my sponsors go, my family. I mean, there's a reason that we keep coming back after year after year after year.
Let me just tell you something. You might not even know this yourself. You've podiumed in 19 separate 4400 class races, and you've been second no less than 10 times and a 2-time king. That is absolutely incredible.
Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that. I mean, I strive for consistency. You know, we go out. I'm not records or checkers. I want to be up here. I mean, that's what wins championships. I mean, we got it last year in 2018, the East and the Nationals, and you know, it's another good start to the season here. I mean, hats off to Jason. I'm really proud of him, but I think he's going to have to stop getting used to this 1-2 thing with me.
Yes, so far it's a repeat of last year, of course. But tell us about those trails. I mean, Jason was saying he had to reach for the winch 4 times today. How did you find the track out there?
I mean, we built this car to rock crawl, and that's what it is, a rock crawler. We had the strategy to winch backdoor going into it. We got into it on our third lap, and Waylon was just at the top of it, and Paul Horschel was on his roof, so we didn't even try it. Robbie was out with the cable, made quick work of it. He fantastic, got the car right up on top. We shot the ledge around it and went. The only other time I pulled cable was the top of Jack North, which, if you can believe it, that was probably my difference there. It was lap traffic coming in on our third lap, and they wouldn't get out of the way. I have to say, most of the guys out here were very respectful of us coming through on lap 3. You know, we'd siren, they'd clear out of the way, and we'd go. But that top of Jack North, that sitting there at the bottom really hurt us. But, you know, I'm proud of the way that this car worked. I mean, we've got, you know, all of us have our heart and soul into these things. It's a really proven platform, and I'm proud to put it back here on top of the box.
Well, it's fantastic to see you here. Now, just talk us through some of these trials. We've been watching, obviously, you going through outer limits, which looked incredibly tough. I mean, the way these axles put up with that is remarkable. But, I mean, we know you work very closely with Spider Tracks on that kind of technology. Do you think it's those little things that make that difference?
It's absolutely those little things. I had a good conversation with Tom last night before the race, the owner of Spider Tracks, and we were talking back and forth about which exact shafts to run. And you know, he told me to it was my call. So I'm really proud to say, you know, we had his 300 M40 spline axles in that steer 45 degrees, and I swear this car is just like a snake in the rocks. You know, one second you're over on the left side of the trail, and the next you're on the right. I mean, I'm sure you could have seen that coming up through the top outer limits, but the steering is just incredible in it. And you know, really one of the big differences is the tires on this thing. I mean, they just absolutely hook. It's the only thing touching the ground. The Spider Track shafts are spinning them. It's remarkable that all of this holds together.
Now, we've seen several other cars coming up through Sledgehammer, and that top trail coming up through there looked remarkably difficult. But you seem to walk through there. Is that a line that you planned?
We came out here after Reno, spent a week in the desert, me and my guys and the Blylers, and had fun just wreck wheeling. And I'll tell you this right now, I spent about an hour on Plaque Line, frustrated as hell. And Josh made it look easy, and I could not get up it. So I took my time and did my homework and figured out how to get this car up it. And I had to two-shot it, but still, I'm really proud we didn't have to pull cable there. Coming out here and doing your homework pays off all the time, and it's invaluable.
Well, you picked your time to shine, that is for sure. You absolutely smashed it through all the hard parts of these trials today, and I am so pleased to tell you that you're a second-place finisher at the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima batteries.
Thanks, Jim. I really have to say hats off to Optima this year. They came on board with us and really made it possible for me to come out here and do this. This car's been branded, you know, Big Miller for a long, long time. To have Optima on the door, I'm really proud of that partnership and really proud of the future of this sport, you know, with the amount of people that actually came out. I've never seen more international fans. I've never seen, you know, more campers and cars out on Boone Road. I mean, it's an absolute zoo, but it's amazing to see it. So I'm just so proud of Ultra 4, King of the Hammers, and everything that Dave has, you know, put his heart and soul into to, you know, believe in us as drivers and all the competitors coming out here. And lastly, I have to thank my family, because without that, I mean, I have a 30-day-old newborn. I mean, my wife put up with literally me taking the last 2 weeks after we finished customer cars to get this car done, and she's done all the behind the scenes work, and I just couldn't have done it without her. I mean, it's remarkable. Anyone with children knows what it takes to keep it all together, and she's a huge part of this finish right here today. I'm really proud. I love her.
Well, so Leah, I mean, I don't know how you do it. It's amazing. I mean, this is the Miller dynasty. I mean, talk us a little bit about through the last few weeks.
Well, I had a baby. And then I got discharged from the hospital, and I went to work immediately from the hospital and ran payroll.
Wow, it is such a family effort, as we see with so many of the teams out here. It's such a great thing to see. So, Eric, I think it's time, my friend, that you celebrate this.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna celebrate this tonight. I couldn't be more proud of my team, my family, all my sponsors, and personally, I just, I couldn't be more lucky to have the opportunity to be back up here and have such great people behind me, and all the fans out here watching us today. Thank you guys all so much for coming out. We're just like you guys out here wheeling on the weekends and loving off road. That's what it's all about. I mean, I started chasing racing just for the adventure of it, and for me, there's no place like Johnson Valley. I love it.
I understand. But there is another guy sat next to you that I would love to have a quick chat to. Rob, how's your day?
I went fairly well today compared to the other day. But it was fun. It was real good. Eric did a great job driving. We had a clean day for the most part. A couple holds up we had. But overall, this car, they hold together. I can't imagine, the power that this motor puts down, that Ginter built. It's the axles shouldn't stay under it. I mean, some of the times we were bound up and he'd just gas it. We'd jump over things, and I was like, wow, like that's incredible. Usually we run conservative a lot, but we started pushing towards the end because we were trying to make up 7 minutes, but we didn't get it, so it's all right. We'll get it next time.
That's what we'd like to hear, positive actions. Right, well, I've got a gentleman over here who's got a huge check that we'd love to give you. So why don't you get on top of this car and let's celebrate in style. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Eric Miller and his co-driver Rob. They've been racing today since 8 o'clock this morning. And they crossed the line in second place, only 5 minutes behind our new three-time king, Jason Shearer. Solid axle car. And champagne rains down on us here in Hammertown. So good to see. And yet there's still more action to come. We've still got nearly 70 cars still out on track. And another three-time king, Shannon Campbell, making his way back towards Hammertown with Marcus Gomez in hot pursuit. Cameron, what do you think?
I mean, really unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a round of applause for Eric Miller and his entire effort. Two kings getting work done to the podium here today. We're expecting another king to join us here in the next 15 or so minutes. And while we're waiting for that, of course, we have the first two finishers in, officially first and second, waiting for third and fourth, which looks like it's between Shannon Campbell and Marcos Gomez. But right now, let's take a look and see some other scenes of what's going on. This is Dan Fresh in remote pit 2. Of course, he has won the Everyman Challenge previously, and one of the rising stars is navigator Mike Kim. And they are...
Let's not forget, Cameron, we've got at least another 70 vehicles out on course who are fighting their own battles today. This course is 242 miles and some of the hardest trails you'll ever see. We're racing up some of the hardest trails ever here at King of the Hammers. We heard Jason Shearer saying earlier today he had to reach for the winch 4 times. Amazing. He didn't touch the winch once in the last 2 years. So that shows you how tough this track is.
Well, when Dave Cole lays it out, it's not going to be a joke for sure. And Dave and his team put together an incredible week of racing.
You know what I think happened? I think Jason Shearer poked the bear last year, saying it was too easy.
Well, I'll tell you, what a great week of racing, and we're looking at backdoor. We're going to continue live coverage right now. Jim, Cameron, and Ian on the stage. Scott Wren will be taking over here with some of the commentary duties here in the next 30 minutes or so to bring you more action and more fun. We have a few more hours of daylight here, and right now, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. We expect to be live more or less until almost 10 o'clock. Try to bring all the coverage we can your way. For those of you fans out there watching your race teams or your favorite driver, the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries, will keep rocking. And speaking of rocking right now, Ian, we got Shannon Campbell on the run coming in. We got some Shannon Campbell fans in the house. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'm sure Shannon'd love to. If he can't win, I'm sure he'd at least want a podium. You know, he definitely would like to get in here. We got Shannon about 10, 11 minutes out, possibly our third place finisher. You know, he was charging hard trying to make up that time, but then we'll just have to take a look at the rest of the Yellow Brick tracker and see how we're going to round out our top 10.
And right now, as we said, running order, looking for their inbound. Looks like inside of approximately 12 minutes. For Shannon Campbell, behind him, Marcos Gomez from the Gomez Brothers Racing. And having a good run, going to put in a top 5 here. But again, anything can happen. We'll take a look and see where they are.
I'm just looking now, so we've got Shannon Campbell making his way towards Hammertown, then Marcus Gomez, and then unbelievably behind him, we've got Tom Ways, although he's a long way back currently in outer limits. But we're watching Chip McLaughlin at the moment, making his way down through Jackhammer. He's been doing a great job all day, just keeping those wheels turning. Every time getting a little bit closer to Hammertown.
The question really at this point is, you guys, as we're waiting for the field to continue on, we'll keep talking about the racing that's going on. We're going to get our third place on the podium. We'll be talking to fourth place shortly after, it looks like. But what's going to take to break that stranglehold that the Kings have on this sport right now? Because we talked about it, this is a tougher course. You heard Eric Miller talk about having to use the winch, which is unusual for him. But the 3 Kings right back in the front of the group. I mean, Marcos Gomez is the next in line of the non-Kings to be coming in. But what's it going to take to get to that next level for some of these other drivers?
You know as well as I do that off-road racing is what I call 3-dimensional racing. It's not like you're racing on flat tarmac. Everything has that third dimension, which makes it so difficult. And people say to us, why are off-road drivers usually older generation people or people who've had, you have to have that level of experience to be able to crash through. So if we're going to find another person, if we're going to find somebody who can break the deadlock of our current Kings, it's going to have to be someone that probably comes from an off-road background, that has that experience, can actually read the terrain as they're covering it. And that's why we see Eric Miller, Jason Shearer, Shannon Campbell, Lauren Healy locking out that top spot.
For sure, and we've talked a lot about the racing that we've been having all week, and the course has been used up quite a bit. You know, we're talking about the UTVs, of course, the Everyman Challenge and the T1s, and right now Ian's with Eric. I thought we'd ask him another question here.
Yeah, Cameron brought up a good point. You know, Eric, I know as well as everyone else here, you're sort of like, this is old hat to you. You come out here, pre-run a lot, run around a lot. How is this race different than previous years, having to follow the T1 trucks after they've been out through that desert section?
Yeah, it was actually in the back of my mind, you know, leading up to this week. I was like, wow, they're going to race our desert course on Thursday. It's going to be completely different than what we pre-ran. You know, I was fortunate enough to run the Mint 400 last year, and that was really one of the first big lap desert races. I ran Best in the Desert up with Vegas Reno and stuff, but really the most, I got to see firsthand what those trucks can do to a track, and it's incredible. So we went out there this morning, really with that in the back of our mind, like, these berms are going to be 2-3 times as high as they were. The holes are going to be twice as deep, and they certainly were. I'll say this, I mean, it's almost like the bumps spread out a little bit, though. They got a little square. It hurt a little more, but it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think if those trucks had any more time on track, it might have changed that. And it's funny. We were thinking, we're like, wonder if Dave was, sitting around one night thinking, how can I make this race any harder? And he's like, I could bring trophy trucks.
Well, thanks a lot, Eric. I think that was, that was in Cam's, bugging in Cam's ear for sure, and he wanted to know that. And I think that's a great piece of information, because we talk about that a lot, how much the course changes, and definitely by throwing the T1 desert trucks in there, it certainly tore that dirt up a little bit more, as you were expecting, Cam. And it was good to hear it right from the man who had to basically drive in your wake, I guess we'd say.
Driving the mess left by the T1s. And, it started off with the UTVs earlier in the week, and Mitch Guthrie Jr. really put in a great performance. We haven't got a chance to talk about that today, but, it was a stellar day.
Yeah, a full week of racing here at in Johnson Valley at King of the Hammers. This has sort of just become, we've always sort of joked that King of the Hammers was the Burning Man of off-road, and I think, basically by wrapping in the T1 trucks at this point, I think Dave Cole may have finally got to that point. I've been coming here forever, and when I was coming in on Thursday, I saw cars and trucks that I don't normally see at King of the Hammers. Saw a lot of long travel sand cars, and guys you're probably used to seeing at your races, coming out and watching you guys race.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an eclectic mix, and it's pretty awesome to see. You might see a kind of a sand buggy next to a Jeep, next to a bouncer, next to a trophy truck pre-runner, and then there's people on UTVs, motorcycles. It's just a great grouping of people. And yeah,
I saw a tank out here earlier, which I thought was pretty cool.
I saw something on tracks for sure too, and that's definitely cool. But Eric Miller with a great finish here. We're waiting for Shannon Campbell to come in, and we're watching live footage in Jackhammer, and it has just become more and more of a beautiful afternoon. And we can see from here throngs of cars and fans at Chocolate Thunder, and
yeah,
Jim?
we're watching there. That's the Frenchman Nicolas Montador making his way up through Jackhammer on lap 2. Nicolas had a tough break this morning, broke a shock absorber on lap 1. Didn't have any spares, but the guys at Fox sorted him out. They took a shock absorber off their display, revalved it, got it back out to remote pit 1, got it on the car, and it's great to see Nick back on track.
Well, that's part of the cool King of the Hammers. The people at Fox are passionate about the sport, and so is everybody that's involved here. Like I was saying earlier, they're not just sponsors of race vehicles. They're not just sponsors of the event. It's not just about the ROI in the world of media and marketing. It's about the passion and the feeling, and you feel it all around the paddock, which was what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't matter what sponsor it is, if it's PCI or if it's the Nitto guys or whoever it is. Everybody is all in.
Well, you almost have to be. At the end of the day, you're committed to living on a lake bed for a week. It's not exactly plush accommodations out here, so you come out here and you're basically running a trade show out of the back of a trailer in the middle of nowhere. So it says a lot for these guys to show up year after year.
Yeah, and you can see right here the King Shocks display. They have all their wares out there. They're servicing teams. It's all about the give back, and they're a big partner here, but it's more about just being involved and being a part of it.
Yeah, you'll see them. They'll post up. You'll see that guys are shock tuning here, shock tuning there. And, I've talked to some people. They're tuning other people's shocks. They don't have a problem doing that. They just want to get out there and make sure everyone has a safe, fast day in the dirt.
And this is Chris Hummer, I believe, from Australia in Jackhammer. Jim, more of the international feel and flavor.
Absolutely, these guys are out of Australia, so it'll be Neil Cooper driving, Chris Hummer sitting alongside him. The older statesman of Australian racing, I hope they won't mind me saying. But they're doing a great job here. They've only owned this car a couple of months or a few months. They prepped it, didn't drive it at all before sending it over. And here they are doing a great job.
And you can see there, Cameron, he's got the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car up in there.
I was noticing that.
Here we go again.
I had this conversation all through the EMC that I was threatening Jim with a cheat sheet for Americanism so he can get caught up on the transfer box versus transfer case.
Yeah,
someone
was messaging me earlier when I was back at the Wi-Fi, and they said, tell Jim that he needs to spend more time in America because we don't do as much winching here. He said he was giving you a hard time for you're mentioning the winching a couple times in Europe, and he wanted me to give you a hard time. But that's part of the gamesmanship, whether it's commentators, racers, or anything. It's super fun, and we've had a great representation from the international contingent here.
Now look at this. This young lady's cleaning the parts here, getting it ready to be put back into the vehicle.
Yeah, Jim, you've been keeping track of all of our international competitors. Who's still out there on the course right now?
Well, Danny Roderick is still moving, which is going really well. He's on lap 2. Then we've got Neville Canter. Unfortunately, Neville has nearly completed lap 2. He's doing great guns, but he's now been stationary for some time, around about 10 miles outside of Hammertown. Michael Henn, we're not sure where he is currently, but more important than that, we've got something really cool. We've got Shannon Campbell coming to join us in town any moment now. 3-time king is making dust as he heads towards Hammertown.
And that is such a great shot and a beautiful feeling as a race car driver to be coming into the finish. Unfortunately, we know Shannon has a passion. He was looking for that 4th crown, the 4th time he would take the scepter home and be the king. It's not to be, but it is a podium finish, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon will be super happy. You know, we've been talking time and time again today about the difference between IFS solid axle. Shannon being probably the originator of the IFS cars out here. I remember way back, like it was like 2011, 2012, he showed up out here with an IFS car and just sort of changed the world. A few years after that, everyone was showing up with one of these cars. So great to see him out there still racing. Whole family out here. You know, Bailey's still out on course. We don't know what's going on right now with Waylon. He appears to be broken, but at the end of the day, I know Shannon will be happy to be on the podium again back home here in Hammertown.
All right, you guys, fans here in Hammertown, it's time to get loud. Make some noise. You're on worldwide. Let's say, welcome Shannon Campbell to Hammertown. And here he is coming through the Jeep Arch. One of 3 lines he will choose, going to be the outside, as he drives directly down into the finish line. A legend in any motorsport, former driver of the year for Dirt Sports magazine, and here he is bringing it in on the podium. 3rd place for the king, Shannon Campbell. It won't be a 4th time, but it will be a podium.
That's so good to see Shannon Campbell there. He did not back off as he came into the Hammertown. He gives 100% all the time. Don't forget, we saw Waylon Campbell, his son, who was sitting in 3rd place for most of the day. Unfortunately, a breakage out just before Spooners and Outer Limits, putting him out of the race.
And he's going to pull in. The media will surround him shortly. And Miles is going to get a quick look around before we get a chance to get him up here on the podium, which we will do shortly. But right now, the legend, Shannon Campbell, is right in front of our pit reporter, Miles. How's it look down there?
So Shannon Campbell on the podium once again, unofficially 3rd place, the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries. He's dragging a winch line that got wrapped up. It got wrapped up around his rear axle, so he must have ripped it off his winch from the front, and he's been dragging it for quite a while through the desert. But that just goes to show how fast the previous kings have been. So unofficially 3rd place, number 1, Jason Shearer. Number 2, Eric Miller. Number 3, Shannon Campbell. All previous kings. That just goes to prove how awesome these guys really are. He looks a little tired, a little battered, but Shannon Campbell is always one you can never count out. This single seat IFS Campbell Enterprise Monster Energy Nitto tire machine made it to the finish line. Shannon's all smiles. Everything's good. He looks a little bit tired, but I'm sure he's going to be excited to make the podium tonight. Drinking a little bit of Monster, getting excited, getting pumped up. What a day of racing he had. He was racing with Marcos Gomez for quite a while just a little bit ago, but apparently got around him. And Shannon Campbell looks like he should unofficially be our 3rd place finisher. for the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima battery. Sounds like Marcos Gomez could be roughly 10 minutes out, so on corrected time, I think it looks like Shannon should have him. But we definitely need to check the trackers, check the stickers, dot the I's, cross the T's. The single seat IFS machine looks like it's in great shape. All 5 Nitto tires held up. Little room for wear. He's definitely been beaten on these tires, but that just goes to show you how tough they really are. He is a monster athlete, a Nitto athlete. Shannon Campbell's been racing off-road ever since I've been a fan. Great to see him making it in here once again. They're cutting the winch line off the rear of the car. So apparently it must have got loose from the front, got underneath, and he got caught up around the brakes, it looks like, and just ripped it off the winch. So he's been that's been dangling through the desert for quite some time. So just got a great thumbs up from the man himself, Shannon Campbell. Super excited to be here in town. He's been battling since 8 a.m. this morning. Marcos will be in town here in hopefully about 10 minutes. The only Gomez brother still racing. But so far it's been one heck of a week. It has been. I've enjoyed myself thoroughly. This is the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers powered by Optima batteries. Unofficially third, Shannon Campbell. Second place official, Eric Miller. Top of the box, Jason Shear.
And we're looking at some of the tracking right now. Looks like Marcos Gomez will be next in, looking at possibly a 4th place. The question we had was, last time we were really looking at, I believe Von Gittin was going to be in the top 5 if he could keep it going. And we're doing a little bit of research right now here at the Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries.
Yeah, we're just trying to find Vaughn on the tracker at the moment.
I hope you guys are having fun around the world, wherever you're watching from. You can always share it. You can tell stories. And those of you here in Hammertown, we appreciate it. It's been a heck of a week. Of course, everybody be careful. I'm sure most of you are spending the night out here, but everybody careful driving out on the highways. So we're talking about some of the results King of the Hammers, Campbell and Shearer have done. And so in an odd coincidence, they have the same number of podium finishes, Jim. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Now, how does that work out? So they've got the same number of podium finishes, same number of wins, and they've been kings 3 times. What are the chances of that actually happening?
It's a pretty wild coincidence, to be honest with you.
But he's always an absolutely fantastic competitor, and he's awesome on to get on the stage as well. So as soon as he's had his trackers removed, he's had a quick breather. He'll be up with us, and he can tell us all about his day.
For those that haven't been around the King of the Hammers or the Ultra 4 racing, Shannon was really a big crossover athlete for the sport that came into desert racing, that was around. We got to know, propelled through Monster and all of that. I mean, he really was one of those people we first really got to know from this discipline, and he's been a great ambassador of the sport for outside of just what happens here at King of the Hammers or inside of his category, so to speak.
He's also in the Off-Road Hall of Fame, which I think you are as well. Off-Road Hall of Fame.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So he's a superstar in his own right, and he's an amazing competitor.
Well, I think Shannon, you got to remember when he was driver of the year, Dirt Sports driver of the year, was back even before Ultra 4. He was back in there in the old We Rock crawling days. That was, and I know he was one of the first Ultra 4 drivers to show up with a actual sponsor. Yeah, I got it. All right, everybody, give it up. Here we go. Shannon Campbell coming up on stage. Third place at the 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers, powered by Optima batteries. We'll get him up here on stage, and we'll get some words from him and see how his day went. All right, Shannon, here we go. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm better now that I'm here.
Do I need to get Tammy up here to get the Instagram story going, or can we go ahead without it?
I got my phone in my pocket.
All right, that's good. That's all that matters. All right, Shannon. So third place. We saw you battling out there. How'd the race go? Go as planned, or anything change?
Nah, I just took it easy all day, but I got a flat early on, and I barely got the damn tire back on the back of the car after I took the other one off, and I just took it easy. I didn't want to do that again, so I took it easy and just kept running into people and moving up the line, and I heard Waylon was doing really good, and I was like, right on, maybe he can have a chance to catch Shear, and then next thing I know, I come up on top of one of them mountains, and I heard him calling for an A-arm, and I relayed in, and they got me one before I headed out of that pit out there and dropped him one off. So hopefully he's getting it fixed, and he can still maybe finish pretty decent.
Yeah, we were speculating on that. We saw you roll through Remote 2B, and we were wondering if they were going to throw any parts on your car to get to him, so they did get you what he needed.
Yeah, that A-arm bruised me up pretty good sitting on my lap the whole way.
Shannon, we've been talking all morning, and we heard that you and Waylon were both back. There we go.
Thank Bloody Mary Larry. He brought me a Bloody Mary. I love you.
We were talking about heading up Sledge. It's been a few years since we went up Sledge. What was it like to be back on that trail here at King of the Hammers?
I was kind of worried about it. We went out there to pre-run it early on this week, and there's a bunch of trail wheelers out there, and we didn't even get a chance. And I seen no one was really making it, and I was like, man, well, I guess I'll just winch it. And I pulled up in there, and I know Waylon. They said Waylon had smoked. He went right up it, and Horschel was in front of me, and I just hit it, and I got it. So it worked out pretty good. I ended up not having to winch other than the Gomez brothers on the back door. They winched me, and I got to thank them because I didn't want to get out.
We were watching that happen, and we saw them run down, and we both said that we were we were sure that you were very happy to have them there to help you. So there you go, everybody. We'll get Shannon out of the car, get him up on the roof to celebrate. Let's hear it. Shannon Campbell, official third place winner, 2019 Nitto King of the Hammers.
All right, Hammertown, there he is, a three-time king on the podium. Round of applause for Shannon Campbell.